Hi everyone, this is Aisyah. Last year, I got the opportunity to arrange and play bass for some songs at the Round Festival 2023. For this video, I'll be breaking down an arrangement that I did for a song called Words by Aisyah. There's also another video of me breaking down another song that I arranged for that festival, and the full performance video of that arrangement is also up on YouTube. All the links are in the description below, so do check them out. The idea of this video is to hopefully give some insights on some ideas that you can pick and choose for your next musical project, whether it's in a live format or not. The arrangement is quite a mixed bag of jazz harmonies, film scoring concepts, and musical approaches, so hopefully there's something for everyone in there. Now, Words is an R&B track. It's pretty chill and it has this laid-back feeling to it. But the reference that was given to kind of start arranging the music was the Pisces Kid UK Garage remix. The tempo for that remix kind of gave me a good gauge on how the melody and the lyrics sound like in a faster tempo. Other than the tempo, that's all I took. If you want to listen to that as well, there's a link in the description to that remix. So I wanted a very musical experience with as little repetition as possible. The song follows the typical intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, and outro form. That's pretty common in a lot of contemporary music or music that you hear on the radio. But I want each of these sections to be different and have their own charms, and to collectively build up a journey from A to B. If you have not watched the full performance video of the arrangement that we're going to be covering in this video, I recommend watching that first to give a better context of what I'm going to be talking about. So with all that out of the way, let's break it down. So to give a bit more context, this was actually our first song of our set. So I wanted it to be big and to deliver a statement from the gate. So I've decided on a really big halftime feel in the intro. And as a cherry on top, we've got this overdriven guitar line for a melodic hook to kick off the stage. There's no crazy harmonies yet because I wanted the audience to kind of familiarize with the stage first. Although a recurring idea that I love to use to a fault is the use of slash chord substitutions in place of, say, minor 2 and minor 6 chords. It's a very fine line when you use these substitutions. I feel like I used them a bit too much for this arrangement, but yeah. All of this would build up to normal time to give a bit of an introduction to the core rhythmic feel of the arrangement. In this part, I used standard chords and an emphasis on melodic statements and a driving rhythmic element. So generally for the intro, mostly standard chords with a focus on melodic statements and driving rhythmic elements to draw the audience in first.
Round Festival, what's good? My name is Aisyah and we are from Brunei. We are so excited to be here with you guys. Y'all ready to have fun? Hey, let's go!
So I introduced this extensive transition before going into the first verse as kind of a fancy and spicy section to show that, yep, this is not your typical up-tempo performance, because I wanted to make the story and the progression of this part of the music feel like a fun roller coaster ride, which is gonna be the feel that I want for the rest of the arrangement. So with that, I start off with an offbeat unison and flurry of slash chords to give this sense of pull from normalcy, like you're being turned left and right before dropping to a familiar diatonic progression. The small part after that is also a bit more relaxing, a release from that spin that everybody experienced. So it's some sort of a breather before the verse comes in, because at this point onward, it's basically a point of no return. We're just gonna have to keep moving forward. And to top off this very big intro, just a small melodic statement to cue everybody in.
This first first song is an original of mine. It's called Words, and we hope you like it. Let's go!
Now we finally enter the first verse. Generally, there's a focus on the rhythmic energy in this section, which will be the mainstay of the arrangement and the main energy from which the arrangement comes from. To support this drive, I decided to create a specific rhythmic accent for the harmonic instruments, while the percussive instruments just drives everything forward. Besides that, there's nothing much going on. It is still early in the arrangement. There's more to come, and I want everything to build up to more interesting ideas in terms of harmony and instrumentation.
Sun dripping over the ocean, washing the sky with hues of orange and red, waves of a deep emotion, pondering words that have yet to.
We now enter the first pre-chorus. A recurring idea that I used for this arrangement was to treat the pre-choruses as a launch-off platform before going to the choruses. To create this idea, I got a bit more explorative with the harmonic and rhythmic decisions to create this defining tension and moment in the song before things get catapulted into the choruses. So over here, we're starting fresh with a basic minor 2 and a minor 3 chord, and to counter that safe sound, I introduced this melodic line to respond to the melody. And I harmonized this line with a good mix of non-diatonics, chromatically moving chords, and substitutions. I could have decided on playing safe with a flat 7 G major 7, an F minor 7, a D major 7 instead of a minor 4 chord here, a C sharp minor 7 to a typical 5 chord E major. But I felt I needed a harmonic movement that moves like butter and something smoother that ties back to the B minor 7 effectively. And of course, to top it all off for this pre-chorus, I ended with this offbeat rising chord movement, ending with the cherry on top of E over F sharp to give this uplifting sensation before that adrenaline rush of going into the chorus for the very first time.
Pondering words that have yet to be said. You tell me how beautiful the view is as we sit on the shore. I turn around, we lock eyes, feel the butterflies beginning to soar.
As we enter the first chorus, the energy builds up and the drive of the song is at its highest at this point. I wanted to give a bit of support and focus on the rhythmic aspect of the song, so I didn't want the harmony to be too intrusive. So instead of manipulating the harmony too much, I worked on making interesting rhythmic accents at the end of each line. I coupled that with your basic minor 5 substitutions and chromatic minor chords, both targeting the consecutive D major chord. And before we go back to the second verse, I put in a simple 1-bar choke to give this quick tease before the chorus kind of steps back and give the spotlight back to the verse. Of course, silence is good, but as a guitarist, I can't help myself to add some fun, familiar harmonics. In this instant, one that you usually hear when you just strum the harmonics on the last 4th string of the 7th fret of your guitar, which all the notes are in the key of the song. Thought it would serve as a nerdy Easter egg of some sorts.
Hey! How can I find the words to say? How can I find the words to say? How can I find the words to say? You've been on my mind for it feels like a while. Never thought I'd fall again.
Now we are at the point where the form repeats. So the task right now is to make sure that newer ideas are introduced to the arrangement. I want to make sure that the audience doesn't go, oh, so it repeats. Great. To avoid that, I substituted the entire progression of the second verse with slash chords. Yes, I like to use these kind of chords. Focusing on the rhythm, however, I decided on this halftime trap-esque groove with some pre-programmed trap elements to supplement the live percussions. Overall, I thought this would calm down the entire thing a bit, but instead of going too soft, the combination of halftime trap elements and suspended chords creates this heavy, punchy accent with an element of where are we going next kind of harmonic movement.
Oh, I never thought I'd fall again. Built up these walls to protect myself, but I don't want to pretend. No, no, can't put my feelings for you on the shelf.
Now we enter the second pre-chorus. Now bear with me on this section because there's a lot to cover. We are now deep into the arrangement and well past the halfway mark, and it's time to not pull any punches. This would be the pre-chorus to bring the song to its peak, aka the final chorus. In order to make this an even more prominent jumping off platform, I went the extra mile with the harmonies here, going extra deep in trying to support the existing melody. So over here on this bar, there's a sustaining E note which exists in all of these chords here. For the slash chords, they just sounded fun instead of using your typical G major 7 and D major 7 again and again. I also took the opportunity to modulate the entire song briefly to E major 7 using a 2-5-1 movement here. With this new tonal center, I treated the sound of the A major 7 as the 4 chord and the D major 7 as the flat 7 chord. At this point, the D major 7 is also the 4 chord of the original key of A major, so it kind of connects. A lot of thought for just a short part of the song, but I thought this would brighten up the song and just give a quick jab of harmonic excitement to the song, especially at this point. But for the most part, honestly, it's just to satisfy myself. So yeah, my arrangement. Alright, that's enough of harmony. Now let's go back to the rhythmic element of this jumping off section, ending with a quick 8th note and 16th note unison and a non-chordal melodic unison to highlight the musicality of the musicians on stage. Because honestly, with performances like these, you really need to give some love to the musicians on stage as well.
Oh, no, can't put my feelings for you on the shelf. Please be patient while I find the courage to express how I feel. Hey! Affection's growing stronger every day and I can't seem to conceal.
With all of that harmony out of the way, this part of the song is all about just letting loose and having fun for both the audience and also for everyone on stage. Not much going on besides some notable mentions and highlights. One is this single B over D sharp chord. To top off this section, we go back to one more offbeat rising chord progression that lands on a G over A chord that gives this final statement before we finally enter the outro.
Let's go! Hey!
How can I find the words to say?
Come on!
How can I find the words to say?
Hey!
How can I find the words to say? Let's go! You've been on my mind for what feels like a while.
And finally, we reach the end of the journey. We sign off strong yet again with a specified rhythm for the harmonic instruments, but have the percussive instruments just drive the song all the way home. I feel this combination is a very powerful tool to not just drive the song, but also to drive with intention and not have it feel like the stage is just blindly going forward. Pros and cons, but I made this arrangement so I decide how the song will end. To top it all off, of course, there's the all-important guitar solo that takes the forefront and just brings the whole band home. It's a very cliche way of ending a song, but there's a reason why people still use it, because it works. And that is my arrangement for Words by Aisyah as performed during Round Festival 2023. It was honestly a fun experience. Given that with what I worked with was pretty straightforward, it gave me so much leeway in being as explorative as I want. But of course, you have to be careful with using too much of your tools and knowledge. It's very important to understand the context of the performance, your intentions, and what kind of experience do you want to give to the listeners. I wanted to create a journey, an experience that kept moving forward and to not look back. And I think I sort of managed to do that. If you want to check out the full performance, it is also up on my YouTube channel. Link is in the description below. I hope this video helps in showing how much work is put into making these live performances work. To those musicians that are watching this, I hope it gives you some insight on how to treat your music in a live performance context. That's all for this video. I will see you next time.